Hi Crafty Pals, Louise with you. Here is another share for my 3 old, 3 new scrapbooking series. I have pulled out some 49 and Market rub-ons. I have got a previous Kitaholic kit and I have got a sheet of chipboard pieces. For my new products, I have got a piece of wood grain paper, some little cut apart word, I don't know what you call them. Let's call them stickers for lack of a better word. And then I've got this chipboard title. Now I've picked a photo that's been in my stash for a little while, and I picked it based on the sort of the teenager chipboard sheet that's kind of buried. There it is. Here we go. So this I loved when I first saw it. So of course I had to use that little add to cart button, and I thought it would be perfect for boy layouts, but of course it has sat in my stash and is very much unused. So this is my time to get it onto a layout, and I do really like how this one came together. So let's go ahead and have a look at some of these pieces. Now the first thing you'll notice I do is with this little chipboard piece, I've put some adhesive backing on it, and then I've rubbed it up and down on the skin of my arm. This is to take away the adhesive, so I actually don't want to stick this down yet. I'm not sure where it's going to go. So in order to take away that adhesive, I just rub it against the oils of my skin, and that takes away the stickiness so that I can move it around and have a bit of a chance to explore how I'm actually going to put this layout together. Now, the Kitaholic kits is a previous kit. I couldn't honestly tell you what month it's from, but I actually keep all my kits in the baggies that they come in, and this one was filled with lots of Vicky Boughton goodies with some plain pieces in there as well. So I'm going to use some of these patterned papers, and I'm going to cut them out into different rectangular shapes. And the reason I'm going to do this is so that I can create some different layers in my background. Normally I would initially go straight for a cluster, but in this case I want to try and challenge my creativity a little bit, try and pick something different, actually, you know, really get something onto a background that I haven't actually created for some time. So you can see these little rectangles, there's a mixture of patterns, colours, they're all in those really brights in the true Vicky Boughton style, something I absolutely love. And I'm going to cut out a few little bits and pieces, tuck them in. Now I tend to, once I have auditioned a pattern or a piece or an embellishment, whatever I happen to want to put down on the layout, once it's in its position, I try not to move it. And this happens a lot because I find that for some reason I just cannot get it to go back in the way that I had it when I initially laid it on the page. So what I will often do is actually stick my adhesive in different ways so that I can actually hold things in position. And sometimes you'll see me do this on camera. Sometimes I actually will stop filming or cut afterwards and just edit a lot of this out. But if I want to show you a way that I've actually stuck something together in what I might term kind of a cheats fashion, then I will often leave that in the filming just so that you can see and maybe even pick up something a little bit that you maybe hadn't thought of in your own scrapbooking. I'm all about the inspiration. That's why I started my YouTube. That's why I'm still making videos many years down the track. And it's about giving you some ways to use some stash and some different layouts that you can scrap lift and put something together for yourself. All right, here I am actually going to cut some of the filming. I don't think you really need to see me lay out rub-ons. I am going to use 2 different colours of them, and again just blending them a little bit into the background without getting too sort of fancy. They're quite subtle. I think that if you used a white background or a lighter background, they would definitely shine through a whole lot more, but you get the general gist of how they're designed to look in the background of this layout. Now, these are word stickers, whatever I'm going to call them. I'm also going to crop a little bit of this out of the video too because I had to flick through a few of them. They're actually completely inappropriate for certain scrapbook layouts. They are, you know, they're kind of a cheeky version of a scrapbook sticker. So I picked through and I found a couple that might actually apply to this layout so that I could consider them a stash item, sorry, a new item in this case, used up, but but they are going straight into my art journaling pile because they are definitely not right for this particular layout. All right, now I had to fill in a couple of little spaces here. So you can see at the bottom left of my photo, there's this little area where I have left a gap between my rub-ons in the background and my paper layers. And I had a few little bits and pieces sitting on the desk. So I essentially am just going to work my way around the rest of the layout, start to glue a few things down. I noticed with a lot of people in the scrappy community, we're all on this bit of a stash busting kick. I'm really thoroughly enjoying using up some older supplies, some previous Kitaholic kits, some sticker sheets that have maybe been hanging around, just getting everything into actual layout. So it feels like such a wonderful achievement in terms of actually the creating side of things and getting these layouts done and these papercraft projects completed, but it's also really good to use up the supplies. Now, as you can see, a lot of times I sort of just audition a piece and maybe it goes on the layout and maybe it doesn't. I tuck a few bits and pieces in here and there. If something has sat on the page for a portion of time and I feel like I'm not likely to move it again, then I definitely will glue it down. Again, I'm sure you've watched enough of my videos now to know that I'm using tacky glue for a lot of my stuff. The Queensland heat destroys my pages, and some that I've pulled out of the albums have just completely fallen apart if I'm using double-sided adhesive. So making sure that if you are in a humid environment, you look after your pages and actually use a bit of extra glue to help with their longevity. Now, this chipboard sheet was actually really challenging to use because it's kind of got a lot of like filigree patterns and some really pretty bright colours with pops of gold. But again, challenging myself to actually use some of these supplies. And I love how this bottom chipboard piece looks and the top, using up those pieces. I'm going to use a couple of these little chipboard star embellishments just to sort of enhance around the layout and pop them in different locations. Really just super simple stuff in order to bust some stash and get this layout complete. Now, title was one that I struggled a little bit with. I tend to try and plan my titles if I can. I do love this title sheet that's the chipboard pieces, but some of them are really large and they didn't quite fit too well. So I ended up by just using the most simple one, which was the word fun, just in a black font. So it didn't seem like a great deal of usage from this chipboard piece, chipboard sheet, but I'm going to get to it. It's going to form a few more videos down the track and hopefully I can get that busted. So that is my share for you today. I'm going to fill in that little gap with a piece of colour and call this layout complete. So I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you for visiting, watching, and if you're leaving comments, I really appreciate them. And if you're a subscriber, thanks so much. If you're not, I hope you'll hit that little button. Enjoy.